Okay, so last session you guys went to Aftapril's sort of magical creature shop. Renderklein went with you all in attempting to obtain the Cloak of Resistance for Lanray by order of the Emperor. Max started questioning a magical item that Afta was wearing. He seemed to suddenly react negatively to that. A battle ensued. You guys were able to non-lethally subdue Afta, placing him in a cage. Render agreed with that since Afta has helped the Empire several times in the past. You then watched Render dig into the tiles of Afta's shop, finding a strange-looking urn, an urn that is distinct and recognizable to Max and others who had been in Gregan's. And in opening it, you find a similar material but different in its size. These are, instead of the sand that you found in the other urn, this is like pebble-sized material, and when it's picked up, it almost turns mercurial, like it shifts around the finger slightly and then forms again. Render told you all that this is a particular material that is necessary. Sorry, got a little bit of sniffles. Necessary for the Empire in defense in order to get the military personnel back to the city faster using the capabilities of the Channeler. Why this was at Afta's residence, you're not sure, but clearly the Empire knew somewhat about its existence. You return back to the palace. You meet back in the throne room where the Channeler and another mage named Melius are essentially preparing various wards and other magics in protection of the throne room. You find the Emperor himself, and upon returning this urn to the Channeler, or rather providing this urn to the Channeler, he begins spreading it out in a pattern within the throne room. And in that pattern, you start seeing a casting of some sort of gate through the circle that he's created. And as he held concentration, he cast another spell through it, which created a tunnelway that looked almost like the shadow plane from what you recall, Mayman, from where you're from. Within that shadow plane tunnel, surrounding it, you see this enormous crystal with multiple facets, still within the gate itself, and various creatures attempting to escape the crystal at different points of its facets. Some portions you see the outlands, some portions you see abyssal beings, demons. As he's holding the gate open and military troops from a ship far away are starting to come through 2 by 2, it starts becoming a little bit less stable. You all start noticing that, and as the troops are finally exiting the gate and dispersing amongst the palace with only 4 or so left within the room, you notice that the crystal that was withholding some of the beings within that gate, a shattering starts to happen, just a small one, and these winged creatures that had been flying in there had begun escaping out, and the Channeler had essentially tried to check around him, sort of in a focus of some sort, while still holding concentration to see if everything was clear of the portal of this gate. I'll pull you to this space now. And it was at this time that those winged creatures escaped from that. Sorry, hold on one second. Escaped from that portal that was shining in the middle of the room, flying about the throne room up high, just as the portal disappears and the Channeler comes to. And it is at this moment I would like everyone to roll initiative.
Woo! Madolpha roll high on initiative.
Oh, that's very rare.
Madolpha's token just probably should be placed next to the Emperor.
Okay, yep.
Because that's... And Varg as well, because that's what we had. That's what I had said. I was right next to him.
Okay, understood.
I don't know if my token is on this screen because I don't see it.
Sorry, man. Let me go grab you. I think you were also close by here. There, now you're on the screen.
I like the animation on the channeler's token, man. That's nice.
Thank you. I've been messing around with that AI animations using some what is it, Pika Labs, I think. So yeah, it works pretty good for little short clips.
I thought Adolfo was just like holding a fan next to him.
All right, there's a lot of beings in this battle, but we'll see how that works. At the very beginning, as the beings erupt from the gate and the gate closes, they fly out and span out. The Imperial guards that are in the room immediately begin to try to swat at them with their sword, but the one that is furthest to the southwest flies up high on the statue, close to the ceiling of the palace room, but not quite, and sort of takes a perch there, and the Imperial Guard ends up holding his turn. This other one over to the northeast, however, is going to chase down and try to surround the one nearest to the statue, and again holding his turn. The Emperor, the Emperor calls out, takes out his sword, and yells to the channeler, "Lock down this room! Don't allow these wicked beasts to escape!" And he takes out his sword from his sheath. All right. The main demon-like being, not a demon-like being, but winged creature, maybe demonic-looking, from the southwest, as perched, yells out to the room, "I am Gerarax. Of the clan Tanari. We are not here to fight you, but my minions will attack you if need be. We only ask for passage out of this building so we may pursue what we are here for." And he holds his turn, although his hands are positioned in such a way where it looks like he might do something. This other Tanari being, begins to circle the room. He's going to go kind of down here, around here, and hover right there, up near the ceiling as well. The channeler, at this moment, yells out, "Monstrous beings from another plane, return back from where you are!" And he clears his throat. And he is going to cast a spell. He casts a spell around himself. Let's see. Right there. And that is his turn. Medolfir, you feel some form of magic essence around the channeler. What are you doing?
I'm gonna hold action in case anything gets near the dais that we're standing on right now.
Okay.
And Varg, his last action that I had him roll last session was defensive stance around the Emperor. So
yes, and he did pass that. So I'm just going to position him slightly over here.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So Varg will also hold action on his turn.
Okay. Mayman, what are you doing as you do see that Madolpir uncharacteristically holding position where he is?
So these are devils or demons?
I would say with your knowledge of various planar activities, you would know that these are abyssal demons. They did announce themselves as Tanari.
I will hold action as well.
Okay. Varg is continuing to hold action, defending the Emperor. These other Imperial guards, this one is going to approach the main being. And as he does, the Nabasu Tanari that is perched up high nearest to him, this one right here, is going to cast as a readied action. He's going to cast a spell. And let's see. So that guy needs to make quite a good fortitude save. Not good enough. Oh no, that is actually. So let's see. Fortitude partial. Sorry. He did actually pass that. I see. Okay. Yes. You see as almost his life force begins to drain from him. He takes, let's see. Wow. 5 negative levels. That kills him. I believe that kills him. Let's see.
Hold on. Even with a fortitude save, he still lost 5 levels?
What I didn't notice is the fortitude save isn't on the attack itself. The fortitude save occurs on the after 24 hours, but on the initial, if that HD is less than the negative levels of energy that were drained, he immediately dies. It's only 24 hours later that he gets to make the fortitude saving throw. So I that's why it's partial. So yeah, the guard, as he approaches, is struck by this ray that erupts through him. His life force itself appears to disappear as he perishes. That was that guy's ready to action. It is Chorus Thane's turn, and he yells out, "Violence in this throne room shall not be allowed," and he marches forward as well. He's going to rush down the stairs to this position. Let's see, does he have a ranged? He does. So he's going to go ahead and throw a dagger at the being at the top. Dagger. One second. It's not allowing to throw it. Okay. That does strike for 4 points of damage as the winged being kind of flaps apart from the dagger. It barely, strikes him. Lanray, it is your turn. What are you doing?
Well, seeing Madolpir and Mayman also hold, I think I would turn to them and say, just generally at the group, just say, what are these things? Because they're definitely foreign to me.
Yeah.
And so I'll hold my action, but I'll ready an arrow.
Okay. Noted. As you do call that out, the channeler yells out that they are abyssal demons. Do not trust anything they say. They are beings of chaos and horror. I can only protect those within 10 feet of me. And so he yells that out to you, Landry. Do you want to do anything after he responds that way, or still hold action?
I will still hold action for now.
Okay. Max, you overhear this. What are you doing?
So, who was the one that yelled out, like, to kill everything?
The channeler was the one that essentially yells out that they are not to be trusted. The emperor was the one that yelled out to close the doors and not allow these beasts to escape.
What do I know about demons? Like, alright, so that would be knowledge.
That would be knowledge planes, probably. And are you looking for like tactical or just like historical? What are you thinking?
No, like, yeah, like vulnerabilities and stuff. Like,
Okay.
resistance
Yeah.
and stuff.
Go ahead and roll me a knowledge planes.
Cool.
Oof. Not a lot about those specific tactical
Okay.
kind of things.
Clearly, your purview is for the undead and not demons, sir.
Yes.
I have a lot of spell options.
Yeah, you guys did also, this is still that same day, so you have not rested yet in terms of spell reloads, etc.
So how high up is this dais that we're standing on?
Like another 6 feet up.
And this guy's down on the ground.
The guard is down on the ground, yes.
Okay. Do I have any insight into why nobody's attacking? Other than the one guard? Like,
I think more than anything, it was kind of shocking when the one being came out appearing to be the leader and spoke in common to the group. But as far as Corson and the Emperor go, they are taking some steps to attack it. Just the rest of the group is holding. I can't speak to why the rest of the group is holding though.
yeah, I don't know. It seems like a big Alright, I guess I'll do a scroll of fireball.
Okay.
It's
Where are you sending it?
CL8 though, which means ignore the last damage die when I cast it.
Okay. Noted. I'll subtract that out. Did you already roll it? I don't know.
And I'm putting it up high enough that it's not going to touch that guy down on the ground. Like, I'm putting the center of the sphere at 15 feet, so it only reaches that guy.
Okay. Noted. Let me see the circle. Okay, yeah, that works. Yep, so the edge of the sphere is striking this one also, but because this one's so much lower, it's not. Yep, understood.
So, unfortunately, I lose one of the 4s, so that's a 28.
Okay, 28 damage. Let's see.
DC 19.
And let me check if you need to. Yeah, I need a spell resistance roll too.
Oh, okay.
A caster level check, basically.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to figure out if I should take 10. No, I'm gonna roll it for real.
Okay.
Let's see. What's my macro? Wizard. This is for spell charm and penetration, right?
Yeah. Okay, 21. Let's see. This one is not affected. The one to the northwest of the fireball. The one down here is affected and failed the reflex save, so he takes the full 28 points of damage, but the other one does not. He kind of screeches back, clearly affected by it, but you also notice that even though it did strike him, some of that damage appears to be reflected away also. As if he has some resistance. So with that, that is your turn unless you want to move.
So, are you saying 21 was high enough?
21 was high enough for this one down here, but not this one up there. They do have different SRs. And regardless, the fire damage was partially avoided because of some form of resistance.
Yeah, demon.
Yeah.
It's just like...
So do you want to move? You do know that the channeler just said that near him he has some protection.
I can't. There's a wall in the way.
Oh, a wall. Is there a wall in here? Oh, yeah, there's a wall. Got it. Now you can.
Okay, that's fine. Everything.
Okay. Oh, you ended up on like a corner for some reason. That is your turn. This Imperial Guard, having witnessed his compatriots being killed immediately by that ray, he's going to be a little bit more careful, and he's going to take some cover from the one that's closest to him, the Nabasi that's closest to him. He's going to hide behind the horse somewhat, and he is also going to try to throw a dagger. Not the greatest thing, but... Come on. I don't know why this is acting up today. There we go. It's just taking a while. Okay. So, he throws a dagger. It does strike. Double check ACs. Does strike for 4 points of damage. Double check one more thing in terms of Oh, no, it does not strike. The dagger strikes the being. It looks like it should harm him, but the being is unaffected by it. He's going to go ahead and straight up hide behind the horse as the Emperor kind of yells on back out to the hallways for more guards to rush in. That is the guard's turn now. This final Nabasu, seeing that a fireball was erupted, is going to dive down to 5 feet above. And he's going to use his Death-Stealing Gaze. Let's see, 30 feet. Who is within 30 feet of this being? This guy. Not anybody else, though. So these two need to make a Fortitude saving throw. Of 18.
The gaze is just in every direction?
Yeah, it's... that's an interesting question. Let me read the raw on it. Living creatures within 30 feet. I'd say unless it was covering eyes, yes, it's a circle around him. So that guy and this guy are going to attempt to roll and save. Okay. So one of them fails, one of them does pass. As a result, that is going to do... That is going to gain a negative level for that one. So one of these guys now has a negative level. Just add that. Hopefully I have that as a buffed condition. Just drag it. Okay. Man, it's like super laggy reacting today. I hope it's just momentarily. Okay. Let me delete this little animation again. Hopefully that helps. Okay, so that was that Nabasu's turn. Other mage, the kind of battle mage, Malius, he's going to come up here next to Chorus and take a 5-foot. He's going to go ahead and cast as well. He's going to cast... Actually, he's going to hold his turn next to Chorus in case anything attacks Chorus instead. So that is his turn. It is back up to the top. This Imperial Guard has not much he could do in this condition right here. He's going to actually pull back, seeing that the rays and the gazes that are occurring can harm him. He's going to pull back and take a defensive position next to Chorus, kind of like a front. This guard is not feeling good, directly adjacent to the Nabasu, but it is now down in his range, so he is going to attempt an attack on him. See if that's successful. Okay. Fails to strike with his Rearlandier as he reaches up to strike this thing. The Emperor, kind of seeing that these beings are unaffected by those in this room, other than the slight amount of damage that the fireball did, yells out to the one who named himself, naming himself as...
It's like Tanari something?
No, Jarlax.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yells out to Jarlax. What is your reason for being here? This is not your plane. I shall hear what you are asking, but do not slay any more of my people. holds for a response. Jarlax, with his hands ready, looking towards the main group of you up towards the north, yells out, "We are here to recapture one who is a prisoner from our place. This has nothing to do with you. Unless you wish to see more of your people killed, I demand passage through this place." And he is clearly holding his action. He looks over to the other Nabasus who are flying around, and he yells out, "Hold your positions as well." And he says it in a different kind of dialect after that. And he says it in common so that you guys hear it. And then he says something after that in a language I don't believe any of you speak. I don't think any of you speak Abyssal.
I do not speak this.
The Channeler, having cast this globe around those of you next to him, speaks to the rest of you and says, "This globe that I've cast is not powerful enough to stop the kind of magic I've seen him cast just now. He did speak in Abyssal to the others to tell them to stop the battle as well. My lord, what shall we do?" And the Channeler also holds position. Medolfir, Mayman, you guys are up next. Medolfir, what are you doing?
Medolfir's going to shout out, "Name your quarry!"
Okay. Anything else?
No, I'm basically, who is it they're after?
I will say, since he was holding his action, and since this is kind of call and response, he yells out, "We are looking for an ice giant demon who has escaped the abyss. How he has escaped, we do not know, but we know he is no longer in his jail that we have held him in. We believe him to be in this place. Not this place, whatever this wretched, smelling, festering place is, this plane of yours." He waits for a response to that. Mayman, Dolfir, you guys doing anything?
Yeah, I've got nothing. I'm just holding action again.
Yeah, I can't do anything, so I'm holding.
Okay. Chorus, seeing that the Channeler is now kind of calling out, he's going to hold his position, but he's going to get a little bit of an upper ground by just taking a 5-foot step back and kind of up onto this step here, adjacent to Render, who is also, I forgot to roll Render, but he would have been holding next to Chorus either way. Both of them hold position in a defensive stance, almost trying to give a little bit of like cover to each other, but sidestepping each other at the same time. Like one is trying to protect the other, and then the other is trying to protect, vice versa. Lanray, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Never experienced. I don't think you guys have ever experienced abyssal demons other than, I guess Sam is from the abyss, the Rakshasa.
And I
Didn't
mean,
we
the
see
demons.
weren't there like abyssal demons in Mechanus?
Ah, you're right. Alongside of Sam, actually, you're right. You did experience some demons in Mechanus.
And so for the demons that we see here, they're just going after the guards right now. They're not.
They have stopped attacking altogether. Now, the last action that did occur that was aggressive was some sort of a gaze that this one over here on the southeast, closest to the sort of bottom statue, did take a negative level from this guard. The guard's almost entire being was kind of drained from him. Still alive, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stay, I think, in the circle of trust there
Okay.
for the time being. So I'll hold.
Okay. Max, from what you're hearing from the Channeler and the Emperor, this is kind of a happenstance of these beings coming through. With that sense motive, let me see. You're going to be doing diplomacy or a bluff. I'm going to tell you which. Just roll here. Okay. From what you can tell, these beings are very powerful. Their focus does not seem to be on you. It appears that they recognize they are in some sort of heralded space, in that they are conversing specifically with the two people that seem most powerful, the Channeler and the Emperor. He seems to be not wanting to attack you all, but they have broken through this gate that was created. How do you react, Max? And I'll say, while you're thinking of that, several guards do start to shuffle in from outside of the hall. A set of 4 more guards appears at the south side where the main doors are of the room.
I just mutter under my breath. I wasted 600 gold. And then,
Yeah, that ROI was shit.
Yeah.
what is it?
I said that return on investment was shit.
Yeah. That was like a 8th caster level freaking
Yeah.
scroll. I'm just gonna hold my action.
Okay. The Emperor, as soon as those other guards come through, yells out, "Hold your position! We are in parley." The other Imperial guard who avoided the death-stealing gaze is going to straight up full cover away from the other one, but then notices one of the Nabasus nearby hovering up, so he doesn't really have much cover one way or the other. The Nabasus, true to the word of the one Jarlax, the other two kind of hold position. They no longer continue fighting these other guards. In fact, if anything, this one retreats back up 10 feet, or rather 5 feet upward, just flapping his wings to get a little bit off the ground. Melius kind of sees that everyone is pulling back somewhat, pulls back next to Chorus as well, and it is another turn to the top. You do notice whatever damage that had occurred to these demons previously, which was pretty minimal, from the fireball really is the only thing, starts to also re-heal itself, slowly regenerating itself. The Imperial guards yell out, "Your Excellency, we will defend this place to our death. Tell us what you need from us." The Emperor kind of looks towards the Channeler and the rest of the group. Huddled in this globe of lesser invulnerability, you guys begin to discuss options. I'm going to go ahead and say that since everything is on hold, you guys can free discuss as the Nabasu Jarlax kind of just sits there flapping his wings on the statue. "Oh, yes, flesh creatures, please take up my time. It's not as if I need to capture a prisoner."
What? How do you plan to take this giant back to your home?
Well, I have means of planar travel. I am not without it. The only problem was that escaping the Abyss is a little bit more difficult than coming back to the Abyss.
Can I get Arcana insight into that statement?
Sure.
What check would that be?
It still is a knowledge planes because, it's really trying to figure out what this abyssal being... You're trying to figure out whether he's capable of what he's saying?
No, okay. Specifically, I'm trying to figure out. He made a statement saying that going out of the abyss is harder than going back into the abyss.
Mm-hmm.
To me, planar travel, to Omid, it seems like it's not an asymmetrical thing. You can do planar travel.
Yeah.
Now,
you believe that if you can do a planar, a means of traveling between planes, that there is no restriction one way to the other if you are doing it through arcane means, to your knowledge. The specifics of the abyss, you don't know, but you are correct in that arcana component.
so, okay, I have another question. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Basically, okay. Do I think that basically he doesn't have like the right tuning fork to come to the material plane, but he does have it going back? Is that something in this version's planar travel?
Potentially, yes. You do believe that there is some form of, let's say, knowledge that he lacks of various planes, if he has not traveled between them. You also know that Sam, the Rakshasa, could not just willy-nilly come back to the material plane. For some reason, he had mentioned this on the second encounter that you had talked to him, that he had to go through all sorts of hell to be pulled back to this plane, seemingly from Lady Veldring. So you do know that for some reason, abyssal beings can't just pop in here, even though they are otherwise able to go between planes.
I disseminate that information in our little huddle while
Okay.
kind of looking over my shoulder every once in a while at the guy.
Okay.
What's up?
Medolfir, Mayman, Lanray. This guy's asking to escape the palace. Rather powerful demon that you guys have not really made a dent in. Wishes to leave this place.
I mean, Medolphus gonna mutter, clearly these beings are very powerful, and I don't know if we have the ability to tackle this quarry.
The channeler kind of looks around to you. We have men in the palace. We can call more in, but the way they manhandled that poor one down there, I don't think martial warriors such as we have are enough. Though, obviously, I am capable of some arcana. He looks to the Emperor and he goes, Your Excellency, this seems to be happenstance of the spell that I cast. Perhaps it is best to just allow these evil beings to be on their way to do whatever they're saying their mission is. It does not seem to affect us and our immediate dangers. The Emperor kind of, for a moment, just looks to the group for some kind of like, you guys have been to other planes. Do you think we should trust and allow these demons to leave and focus our attention back on Lady Veldring?
Trust? No.
We can certainly not trust them.
Yeah.
He calls out. He does call out to Jarlax before you. Oh, actually, go ahead, Max. What do you have?
I want to Jarlax what the powers of this creature they're hunting, this giant, are.
As you call out to Jarlax, Jarlax responds again, a little bit of like abyssal under his tone, like muttering almost, and then comes back in common. The being, an enormous ice giant of demonic blood, capable of extreme harm. Let us just say he has killed many Tanari. And the first time we captured him, I don't really know how time works here, but in the past era, in the first culling, he killed most of the clan Tanari, erasing them from the abyss. He is a dangerous being that, if you allow to remain on this plane, he shall turn it into his own kingdom. And then he will come back for us, who he likely seeks revenge against. I am telling you this not as a friend, for I find your existence to be disgusting. But this being, whose name, if I spoke, would make blood run from your ears alone, must not be allowed any freedom.
And the three of you are capable of retrieving this person?
The three of us are the vanguard. Upon finding him, we have the ability to, now that we are here, call upon others, other Tanari, and I promise you, although I know that you scum are not able to understand a promise from a being as excellent as us. But when we do find him, we will leave this place, for I have no desire to remain in this decaying, organic nonsense. And he spits on the palace floor.
Promises are for old friends. Is there any assurances that can be given?
Kind of chuckles and says, "You know that globe that you're sitting in," and he kind of chuckles, "that your magic caster has cast. It does not protect you from me. Assurance? The assurance is that you are not dead yet." Mayman, hold 1 second. Are you checking against that last statement he made, essentially?
No, I was just listening to what he was saying. I really just want to know if there are pieces of what he is saying that are untrue.
Okay, got it. Okay, from that check, you do get the sense this is a silvery-tongued demon. He knows exactly what he's saying. He knows to avoid a paradox in his statements. He knows to avoid anything that would be, clearly not possible. So as he's speaking, he is careful with his words that he's saying. But you do not sense any lies from what he's telling you. His mission seems pretty clear. But the Tanari, you know from your planar travels, the Tanari are beings that live upon a whim. They are not like devils in that regard, especially the Tanari. Whatever occurs in a moment, occurs in a moment. So right now the plan is they need to go and capture this being, but you don't know what might happen if you release these beings into this world.
Have demons of any kind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ever had plans or desires on the material plane?
It is known that in the Adbara subcontinent, the large subcontinent to the north of the Terthus Straits, which, let me just activate that. So, here, let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah, so if you go to Adbara itself, in the Rift region of Adbara, several years back, there was Abyssal activity, some sort of demi-plane that had been released, and it is known to those in Arcana, to UMAX from the Planetum, which studied the occurrence, and to others that are laymen, that there were some form of trapped Abyssal generals stuck on the material plane, created from who knows when. They found a way to escape those bindings, but were dealt with for the most part. It is believed that all three of the generals were dealt with in some terminal manner. But yes, you do know that abyssal beings have attempted invasions of the material plane. That's a little bit of a throwback to a prior campaign.
Yeah. Max thinks like, probably just some idiots that got lucky.
Yep. The rest of you know very little knowledge about that. Just arcane circles would know more about it, but the rest of you just know that it was something that occurred several decades back.
I try to explain like that whole thing that happened, like that was demons. It wasn't devils. It wasn't, rando giants coming through. Those were demons like these guys. So now, would I know enough about that situation to know if those demons were bound to the rift somehow and therefore were upset about it and that's why they invaded, or was there an invasion first and then they were bound?
You wouldn't know the history of that specifically.
Okay.
Just that they were somehow stuck here on the material plane.
I'm going to ask a question, like, even if we wanted to, does it make sense to fight these demons while we're imminently going to fight Lady Bellatrix?
Hey, you guys have had a long day.
Max pipes up, even if I was fully rested and had planned what spells I would prepare for such a battle, I don't think I would survive.
Then I guess the answer is kind of obvious, then, right?
The Emperor.
Yeah, Max looks to the Emperor. He's
The Emperor kind of looks to the rest of the group who's discussing this and states, I believe if we were to try to fight these beings, even if we were successful, we would take enough heavy hits and losses that our battle against Lady Bellatrix, our war against Lady Bellatrix, would be lost. I believe I shall escort them out of this castle. Not myself, but perhaps a series of guards to escort them out and release them with the promise they do not return to Terthus. We must focus. Kind of leaves that hanging in the air as he yells out, "Guards! To the four furthest to the south. You shall escort these 3 demons out of my palace and assure that they leave the grounds, flying off to wherever they go." And he looks to Jarlax and states, "And with you, I have no other business. I do not know this demon you are hunting or your prisoner. I wish him off this plane as well. So to that, I wish you a success. Now leave my palace." So the guards do start doing that. The abyssal beings fly over towards the guards. Is anybody doing anything while they fly over towards the guards? Just watching.
Medulfer's just staying close to the Emperor.
Okay. They do fly over. They get onto their large, kind of reverted, how they have the kind of like animal-like kneecaps, stand on their feet, close up their wings as if they're like a cloak of some sort. You can now see when they're standing next to each other, the 2 minions that had fought the guards, significantly smaller in build than the large one named Jarlax. And the 3 of them in a almost strategic kind of pattern, 2 behind guarding his back, and Jarlax walk out. Digitigrade. Thank you. Digitigrade. They all walk out with the 4 guards. Jarlax looks back towards the Emperor and the Channeler and yells from 100 feet away. "And tell your minion to be careful playing with planar elements. Your plane has remained relatively calm for these millennia because you know your place. Do not bring the force of Orcus down upon you, or we shall wreak vengeance for times past." He closes up his cape wings and walks out through the palace door. You can tell that the Chandler's face is, even though he has this big white beard, he looks pretty embarrassed at this moment, allowing the gate to have remained open. What are you guys doing?
Medolfer's just going to be, so I don't want to say I told you so or anything, but I told you were meddling with things that you should not be meddling with. The best thing you could do would be to get rid of that. The temptation to use it is going to bring about your destruction. And I look at me, and I'm going to say that last bit as I face the Emperor.
You look behind the Emperor, next to the Chandler. Close to the throne is that urn that he re-scooped that strange material objects and placed back into the urn. There's almost like a hum resonating from the metal of that urn, a deep-toned, like atmospheric, unsettling, vibrational kind of hum coming from it. The Chandler looks back to it. Your Excellency, I understand that this has occurred today, but you still have several of your loyal subjects upon ships. Specifically, since I now provided you the accounting, there are 792 infantry currently not located in the city. They are currently on the 14 warships that are, I'm just displaying it for everybody, the 14 warships that are currently in the strait. You did pull 52 military from the ship that the Chandler just had opened up the gate to. There were already only 24 city guard remaining alive in the city. There are cavalry. You guys have come across some of the cavalry and guard posts around the island itself at the Tower Watch. There are other people on this island, but currently the city is bare-boned in its defense. And the Chandler kind of looks at the Emperor and to the group. He kind of, without any kind of facial smile or dismay, looks to Medolfir and says, "You're wise, half-orc." Medolfir, sorry. Old habits die young. You are wise beyond your experiences, I believe. But if we have any chance to defend this city, which I believe after this night, if the beings Belladrake are allowed to recuperate, they will create more enemies for us. We need forces to go after them and uproot them.
Then call your forces back by mundane means, while the people here try to root out where Belladrake and her grandfather are.
Okay. The Emperor speaks to Render. Let me go ahead and clear this. Let me pull you back to the campaign landing page, actually. The Emperor speaks to Render. How many days out again are the ships? And Render goes back to Your Excellency, they are at least 8 days from returning to Terthus. We would have to survive those 8 days. And the Emperor looks back at you all, noticing now that the cleric, Master Nantes, is not here. And he kind of speaks to Max. Max, in terms of those at the Planetum that may be of assistance, have we heard anything back from them?
GM, I didn't hear anything.
Nope. You did find the other sending stone. That happened 2 sessions ago. It was in the hands of some commoner. So you do know that they do not currently have a sending stone.
Okay. Yeah, I tell them all my information that I know to them.
Okay. And you do, just in terms of mechanically, know that Darius and Jameson, neither of them have the capability of a sending spell. You know that because the only other way that they've ever communicated with you has been through like a bird message, but never via like direct sending.
Yeah, it's a fairly high level spell.
Exactly, yep. Okay. I guess you tell the Emperor that. And so we have 50 or so, 76 personnel. We could send out a message. He looks over to the Channeler and Malus. We could send out message to those outside of the city to return back to try to gain as many as possible. How long would that take? And Render goes, maybe a day and a half, 2 days from the furthest reaches. Is your group able to stay within the palace and assist in the defense?
I cannot speak for other members of my party, but I will.
He nods at you, Midolfir. How about the rest of you guys?
Yeah, I nod too.
I look and I say, yeah, I'll stay.
Looks like we're staying.
Very well. We will need to survive 8 days against these dark deceits, I suppose. Channeler, and he yells over to his mage. Assure that my family is taken to a safer realm, a safer kingdom for the time being. And he looks to him and says, I believe you know where to send them. And the Channeler kind of nods. I apologize for the secrecy, but you never know who's watching us right now. You all remember that before this all occurred, there is a distinct chance that you are being scryed upon. There is some scrying protection occurring right now around Malleus. And the Emperor himself is being protected by an ability to stop the scrying, but the rest of you are potentially victims of it. Well, I'm in need of rest. And the Channeler kind of nods. Indeed, Your Excellency. Are you guys resting?
Midolfer is going to say to the group, that we definitely could all use rest, but it's clear that we need to come up with a plan for how to take care of Veladrake and the others. We need to talk about what we intend to do when we fight them next. What resources do we have available to us?
The Emperor, kind of with a clear concern sign on his face. And I suppose we need to find out where the Master Cleric is as well. I am worrying on the lateness of this hour that he has not returned from his own mission at the temples. He is the only one capable of kinds of magic that may resurrect one of us if we are to fall.
When was the last time we saw him or he was with us? Was it when we set out to go retrieve the cloak or whatever?
Yeah, it was basically in the early hours of the morning this morning. You guys ventured out. It did take you some time. You did run into the ogres, etc. So this is now later that day at night again. So that is the last time you saw him this morning.
But when did he, like, when did we part from him? I don't recall.
It was right at.
Go ahead.
It was when you guys were passing the Shrine of Haptha and splitting up. You guys were going to Afta's and he was going to remain with the temple. You guys discussed whether or not you would go with him first to the various temples. You guys chose to go to Afta's directly.
Okay, so the last we know, he was headed to which temple?
The Shrine of Haptha, and then also the Temple of Coralon, which is up in the Carolidia Steppes. So this here. Here was the Shrine of Haptha that you guys split off from him with, and he went inside, and then the Temple of Coralon is up here.
So maybe we should, I don't know, maybe we should rest and then head out to go check both of those places, see if we can find them. I don't know what group consensus is, but that seems to maybe be the next step we should take is go find Montes.
What do the rest do you think?
I don't know if anybody else has any other ideas. I'm just putting that out there for something we can set our next goal on.
Chorus kind of speaks up. I fear every time we leave this palace grounds, we lose more men. Now that we've regained about 52 of them, we could send a larger search party. I would say a full group of 20 over to the temples to see. I do agree with you, Manopir. It's too dangerous for us to leave in our current state, battle-worn, this evening to try to find him. We need our rest. It's been a long day.
Agreed. Let's rest at first and decide our next steps.
The 4 guards that had released the demons, who had walked out with the demons, return back to the throne room as you guys are still discussing this. And they call out, they walk up the stairs over to the throne area and they kind of kneel before the Emperor. Your Excellency, we have observed the demons. They have left the city, flying southeaster towards the continent of Dorithia. From there, they made no veering of their angle. They seemed to know exactly where they were headed, towards the southeast. And then they sort of stand up and, with your leave, Your Excellency, we shall return to our posts.
Suspiciously towards the black dot at the center of the X's.
And everyone goes to the world map. Yeah, I mean, you guys do know that your past lives before all this undead beings had led you to exploring parts of Dorithia for these lost gnomish ruins. Yeah, maybe, I mean, that's a big circle, so they're certainly not heading north. They were heading southeast. Where within that zone, that's kind of like a few thousand square miles right there, so they could be heading anywhere. Yep. Anything else before you take a rest?
Does Max have access to papers and inks here at the palace that he would need in order to make scrolls?
the Emperor kind of goes, anything that is in Master Cleric Nante's space, I believe he would be open to you using. And he looks to the Chandler. I don't know if you have any. The Chandler kind of goes, no, I don't really scribe scrolls or anything like that. So he says, then Master Cleric Nantes' rectory, I suppose, is where you would want to look. Of course, if there's anything else materially that I can assist with, you just let me know. The wealth and power of the Empire is at your fingertips at this moment. Okay. You guys head to the chambers to rest? Is there anything particular that you wish to do? Max, it sounds like you want to do a little bit of scribing.
Yeah, if I can get my hands on the material, because I don't know how much I have in my inventory. So
Okay. You head to the rectory.
Definitely have less than the amount of days that we're going to be here, right? Because he mentioned, 8 days?
Yep. You head to the rectory, and even though, obviously the Master Cleric writes in divine texts, you do find materials that regardless would be able to be made into scribes. I'd say several thousand worth of materials are found here as you avoid pilfering but take inventory of his rectory.
And to be clear, has the king basically given me permission to prepare as I feel needed?
Yep. He said, whatever you need, take. I take it you do so?
Yeah.
Okay. Returning back with whatever materials you gather from that space, you find the rest of the group in the chambers, I take it? Or are you guys staying up and doing other things? Is anybody doing patrols? What are you guys doing?
I think for tonight, just find a bed and crash hard.
Okay. Understood. You do find the comfort of the chambers up on the 3rd level of the castle. The same rooms that you were staying in before, with the fireplace already set by whatever maidens remained in the palace. You do not believe by the end of the night that the Emperor's family remain in the palace. Only he is still here. Lanray, Mayman understood that you do not require rest for rest. It's kind of just ritualistic to you more than anything.
Yeah, I would probably just take that 30 minutes and then I would go guard. So I would just go run around with a guard.
Okay. Almost like a sentry, I'd say. You're like just standing in place while the rest are kind of, doing various things. Max at the rectory gathering materials. Madolfir, I don't know if you're eating anything this evening, just to recuperate and rest. But Mayman's just kind of standing there in his armor, still standing, and then you just kind of come out of that stillness, Mayman, and you're like, you feel pretty well rested. You can go ahead and press the rest button before anybody else does. So that should recuperate a little bit of health for you. I think you were down pretty substantially. You see where the rest button is, Mayman?
I just hit it.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. I think it automatically increases your health when you press it, but just confirm.
Yeah, I think I got 14 HP back.
Oh, interesting. 14. Why would it give you 14? Should give you back your HD, basically, which is 8. I think you were at 56, though, so I think it was accurate.
Oh, I might have been at 56.
Yeah.
I thought I was at 50. You might be right.
Yep. The rest of you, Lanray, you kind of see Mayman recovering a little bit. What are you doing?
I am just gonna, I guess, do something similar and just kind of recover near Mayman.
Okay. You kind of sit down, but are not able to recover at the speed that Mayman does. You still will need actual sleep. None of you are fatigued or anything like that. I mean, you don't technically have to sleep tonight, but for those who need it, it would be useful. There's the opportunity for you all to sleep in 2 different rooms. Do you wish to have 2 different rooms and split up, or do you want to all be in one room?
I mean, are all the rooms like in the same hallway or whatever?
They are. The 2 specifically are next door to each other. Next door down the hallway.
I don't see why we couldn't use separate rooms.
Okay.
Not trying to be antisocial, but
Okay, we get it. Lanray snores.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah.
Okay.
Attack.
And the others, Max, Lanray, you're good with, I guess, bunking in another room, giving Madolfir his space with, I guess, Mayman and Varg.
It's really Varg that needs a space. He's a bed hog.
Okay. Yeah. Max, you good with that?
As long as whoever I'm bunking with is okay with me writing away for a while.
Okay. So,
No
Landry,
problem.
that's you. Okay. He's got his little candle out on the desk as you're trying to get a little bit of shut eye. Are you going to sleep while he's up, Landry?
Yeah, and I'll tell Max just to wake me up if and when he finishes up, and I can do a watch.
Okay. And Mayman, are you keeping watch in the Madolfir room through the night?
No, I'm actually acting as a guard, so I would have been outside the rooms walking around,
Gotcha.
making sure nothing was coming around. Yeah.
Generally in the chambers region of the castle, or are you going out and asking the guards where you could be assisting elsewhere in the castle? Like, how far out from where the group is do you go to guard?
I would assume the area that we're at has guards, right?
Yeah, there are a couple now, especially now that the ship has offloaded through the gate. You do notice that specifically the bedroom chambers hall now has 2 guards on either end, and you can only access this hall from those 2 doors on either end.
Yeah, I mean, I would go give one of those folks a break and tell them to go guard elsewhere. There's no reason for anybody else to guard if I'm already going to be there.
Okay. You walk up to the north set of doors down the hallway, and you see much smaller than you, set of 2 guards, one of which was in the battle in the throne room, still a little bit drained of health. And he kind of goes, I haven't been feeling right since that horrible encounter. I could use some rest and perhaps some medicine. I believe I know where to find some in Master Nante's rectory. If you could take my position for the night, I would appreciate it.
Yep. All good.
Okay. That guy is not going to die tonight from that decision. He goes off and tries to actually take care of his wounds. You see, as he takes off his helmet, how pale and sickly he's looking right now. With that, you take guard. Madolfir, Max, and Landry, within your own rooms, is there anything defensively that you're doing? I don't know, caltrops if you have them, etc., within the room. Each room does have a set of narrow, sort of punched windows, like you would imagine in a castle, with operating windows that can swing out, and then a single door to get in.
On the windows, can I use a dagger through the latches to keep them from being able to be pushed open or pulled open from the outside?
Definitely. Yeah, there's a latch there. What was in place was a very rickety piece of wood holding them closed, so you're just going to replace it with a dagger instead?
Yeah.
Okay. Max, Landry, anything in your room?
I don't have much in the way of, I don't know, traps or anything, or signals.
Okay. Noted. feeling the... Oh, go ahead, Max. Yeah. You got anything?
I mean, I have a bunch of rope that
Okay.
I could string around, but that's about it.
Okay. You want to try doing that around the windows and things like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a use rope check while that's happening. Landry, go ahead and press your rest button as Max prepares the room in his best to, at least at a minimum, alert you if something tries to enter the room. You do get your rest, Landry. Yeah, I need a Max and Mayman. I need you both to roll D100s, please. And keeping in mind, high is bad with a D100.
Guys,
Oh, man.
Okay, well, in fairness, the second Me-Man roll doesn't actually occur. I know that you're dealing with that like double-click thing, Me-Man, so it is the 88 to start with, which is better than 97. So let me consult. Let me just delete that. All right, so 88 and 82. Let me just consult one thing real quick. Okay. All right. The night passes for you, Mayman, without the night passes for you without any incidents down this hallway. You don't have a good bearance on what time it is until you get the sense that a new set of guards is coming to relieve the shift down the hallway that you can see from your position. So from context, you take that it might be morning now. Max, as you're scribing through most of the evening, I'd say until about 2 or 3 a.m., you hear sounds outside, disturbing sounds from the city. Not anything close. You don't notice the windows moving or anything like that, but just the sounds of malice and shrieks in the middle of the night that are loud enough that even from a distance you hear them from the city. It disturbs you from your scribing at times, but nothing dangerous upon you yourself. You do complete your tasks to the maximum amount that you can for the evening. Do you wake up Lanray and give him watch?
Yeah.
Okay. Lanray, after having a good amount of sleep, wouldn't say good sleep, but a good amount of sleep, you are awakened by Max. Do you wish to continue to sleep in, or are you waking up? It's the middle of the night at this point.
Yeah, no, I'll wake up so that Max can rest.
Okay. I need you now to roll me a 1d100 as well. And Medolfir, you could theoretically wake up in the middle of the night, Medolfir, or just continue to sleep in. You don't have an alarm clock or anything, and there's nobody else other than Varg in the room.
no, Medolfer's getting his beauty rest in right now, so.
Okay, got it. And did you do a heal check for the evening on yourself, Medolfir?
I had hit rest already. I thought I heard you say hit rest, so.
Okay, you're not ranked in it anyways. For some reason, I thought you were ranked in it.
No. Am I?
Okay.
I don't think
No,
so.
you're not.
I'm ranked in heal. If I could have done a heal check, I would have heal checked the team.
You know what? Give me a heal check specific to Medolfir, Mayman, since he's your bunkmate. Like, you go in and check on him and kind of tuck him in a little bit now that he's sleeping. Yeah, you're not very good at healing.
You saw my high rolls earlier, Medolfir. Sorry about that.
It's all good, man.
Natural one. You literally just walk up and just like tuck his sheets in and then walk back to your guard post. Yeah, you only gain your normal heal amount, Medolfir. Okay. Eventually the morning also comes for you, Medolfir. Lanray, with that check, you also hear those kinds of noises from outside, but no immediate danger. There's nothing trying to open the doors. You do not notice any footsteps outside. Yeah, the night passes. Eventually, the sun does come up over Terthus. You guys find yourselves in a new day, potentially with new dangers. You know that now that you all are rested, that the Veladrakes and Hildebauer might also be rested now. Or perhaps they continued their reign of murder out in the streets all night. What are you guys doing when you wake up?
Medolfer is strapping up and getting ready to head out. If we agree, we're going to go try to find Master Nantes.
Okay. Mayman, are you doing your exercises for the day?
Yeah, I mean, I constantly.
Okay. Like while on guard, you're just doing sit-ups in your armor?
I mean, these guns don't come from sleeping.
I love that your character has become a gym rat now. Just like middle of the night at the gym. All right.
I mean, I started somewhere else, but I think I'm Cartman from.
Okay.
I'm all in on Beefcake.
Okay. Linray and Max, are you preparing your various spells and things like that for the day?
Yeah. Did I get any rest?
Yeah, you got rest as well. Sorry, I forgot to say that. You did get rest after your scribing. And do you know what scribe spells you were planning to do?
Well, it would have had to be one of the ones that I had prepared. So, what I have is a couple of Command Undeads, and then a touch of Idiocy that is they're at different CL levels in order to get to 1,000.
Okay.
Because that's the daily limit.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna make those in my inventory.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, and I made just note of it in the chat just for my own reference. Okay. The group reconvenes. There is no word back from Master Nantes. The food available this morning is less decadent than past meals you've had at the palace. It is basic bread, a little bit of cheese from a wheel, and the Emperor is there in the throne room. He looks tired. He is surrounded by Malleus, who also looks a little bit tired, as well as 6 guards within the throne room. I hope those of you were able to rest after your valiant efforts yesterday. I have not heard back from the Master Cleric, unfortunately. I don't know what forces we should send out for the look. I believe the evening was not a good one for the city. But my guards stayed within the citadel.
Well, then it's clear we should head out to look for Master Nantes and see what we can learn about the city while we are on our way.
Understood. Do you need any of my guards to go with you? Or perhaps Render or Chorus? We do have more support now, this day.
The more the better. We do not know what we may run into.
He looks to Malleus. Go check on Chorus. I know he has been speaking to the guards, reestablishing some of the post orders within the Citadel, along with Render. See what they may be able to provide. And Malleus kind of leaves. The rest of the guards within the throne room hold position around the statues and at the doors as you guys wait. While you're waiting, is there anything you're discussing with the Emperor? Or is it just awkward silence?
I don't have anything. Does anybody else in the group have anything to discuss with him?
No.
I mean, another order of business, I think, is, and I'm not sure if it makes sense to do that first, is to go see to the Planetum and find out what all has gone on there and see if we can, discover anybody still alive there or whatever. I mean, there's been no word of the Planets of Mages. We know some stuff went down there, right? So expect there to be issues, but I wouldn't say sending like a detachment of guards there is a wise idea, because they're not going to know how to handle any magical wards or anything in place.
The Emperor kind of looks at you, Max, and goes, I shudder to ask again, but I assume no further attempts, messages, any means of knowing whether those allies are still alive. And then he, without a response, he kind of has a dismayed look. There was something that was mentioned by the Veladrakes during that ritual within this room, that they wanted to preserve some of us. Who do you think they were speaking of? The royal line? The imperial line? Or perhaps those of you within the room?
Out of character, I mean, the graves that were all dug up in the previous history of all this, we discovered were people that were of not necessarily royal lineage, but those that held power, right? Lineages that traditionally held power within Terthus, right?
Noble power, although there was one former archmage of the Planetum also dug up. But it was definitely people, not commoners. I mean, you have now seen them turn various just kind of normal people into undead minions of theirs. They turned the guards that they killed into their own sort of undead battalion. You assume similar things are happening within the city, although for the most part you ran into ogres thus far. But they have the ability to turn beings into their willful undead. But for whatever reason, they have not done that to those, as far as you've seen, of noble birth. They killed the prince. They didn't turn him into an undead. For whatever reason, you were not able to revivify the prince. It seemed as though there was some sort of magic upon him that made that impossible for the Master Cleric Nantes. So there's definitely a double context to it. For sure, there's some beings that they're treating differently than others.
I mean, is it general knowledge to them the nature of the graves that were dug up?
To the Emperor?
Yes.
Yeah, he's received all of that same information.
Okay. Then,
has there ever been in history a contention for the throne, a reason for the Veladrakes to feel that they lack a power that they deserved somehow?
There's definitely what was spoken about Carbon Veladrake, who was kind of given that royal-esque nobleman position, but he never was made a full noble. He was kind of just an artisan in a past life, it seems. And the whole family has kind of become disarrayed. You knew that they became kind of poor and unknown as a noble family.
I'm asking the king that question, I guess.
I've always shown them the utmost respect. Lady Veladrake and her aunt were welcomed here as children, and as her aunt grew older as well.
Not really answering that question. Max thinks in his head. Alright, that's all I got.
we should at least. This is the capital of the empire. There's a lot of big temples. You need priests to fight the undead. If Master Nantes couldn't do it, we still need to get the priests on our side. It's not. Even I can't hurt most of these undead with my weapons. I'm not sure arming ourselves with more mundane soldiers is going to help.
Yes, I agree with you. That's why I think Master Cleric Nante's mission was important, to obtain additional clerics to our aid. I do not know if anyone remaining at the Planetum has specific ability against the undead.
Magic fire works against the undead.
So before we miss this point, Master Nantes went to a couple of temples and come back, and none of the priests from any of those temples showed up. So why don't we go to the temples to actually see if he's there, and if not, grab those priests?
Okay. Yeah, I think it was just a matter of, do you go to the Planetum first or the temples to see at this point? So it sounds like temples first.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Time to go to the temples.
It's at this time Chorus Thane, along with 6 guards, appear in the room, addressing the Emperor and then looking to the group. We can spare these 6 guards. Unfortunately, until we get another group from the ships, this is about as much as we can spare from the Citadel without losing vision of important positions. I hope it assists you.
Do we even want to send any guards with us? Because, they just end up getting killed. And they don't really add much to the fight.
Hey, flesh bags that shield you are still things.
Exactly.
All right, so me, man, it sounds like you're on team no guards. Max, no guards.
I'm on team no guards.
Okay, Rodolphir, guards.
Let's let the red shirts live today.
Okay, no ensigns on this particular planetary voyage. Landray, are you team no guard? Are you dissenting against that, or?
I guess we're going no guards.
Okay. Chorus says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought." Okay. Well, actually, that's good news because we were getting a little bit thin on the walls, and I feel like having some eyes out on the city to understand the dangers that are out there would assist us. We are flying blind right now. I'd appreciate any reconnaissance that you can bring back as well.
Yeah. So we have the 2 sending stones now, right?
You have both sending stones right now, yes.
Okay. Are we basically planning? Are we getting ready to leave the palace right now?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Okay. Do we want to leave one of the stones with somebody here?
That's the question of the group.
Who's staying? Is Chorus staying?
Chorus, Render is staying. Pretty much everybody that you guys have encountered is staying at the castle to shore up defenses.
Maybe leave it with Chorus or Render Klein just to, in case we need to reach out to someone.
Trust Chorus more, right?
Generally, yeah. I think his head's in the right place. Still not sure about Render Klein. He's the new Chorus, so he's got big shoes to fill.
Oh, speaking of people, It is at this moment in the palace room that out of thin air appears the channeler, who is teleporting back into the palace. Your Excellency, your family is safe. So, you leaving the stones with Chorus?
I think Chorus is the right call. Did I ever find my Hydra pet?
I don't think you've had time to search. I mean, theoretically, within the grounds of the Citadel somewhere. It's only been like 36 hours since that. Would you like to
There was like one lady that was really into the Hydra. Can I go find her and be like, hey?
Sure. You kind of just like give me 1 second to the group and run back to the chambers?
I mean, if you allow retcon, I would have done it like before.
In the morning? Okay.
Like before scrolling even, I would have gone.
Okay. So you go up to the doors within the chambers this morning before all of this discussion. You knock on the door?
Yeah. And be unpleasant about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to play it off like, oh, she saved my pet during an intense moment. You know what I mean?
Okay, sure. A few moments pass, and then eventually the door opens partially, and you see a head peer through, brunette woman, wearing still sleeping gown. Oh, Max. What time is it? Are you trying to cause a scandal in the Citadel?
Oh, I'm sure no one would believe that with you, my lady.
Oh, very good. What is it, Max?
The pet Hydra that I had, you wouldn't have happened to save it during the scuffle, would you?
No, during that awful scuffle, I was just trying to protect myself, really. I don't know where your Hydra is.
Sense motive.
You want instant?
All right, yeah. Give me a sense motive check.
Cool.
A sweet, noble woman of good birth like this lady would not lie to you.
Obviously.
You're just gonna have to find the Hydra yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You return back to a reminiscing, I guess, at this point back in the throne room later on that day. Medolfir. I mean, in this moment, you do have a pang for Finray as kind of your cleric in action. I mean, his clerical nature was brought on by the powers of Obadhai. He wasn't really a cleric, but he acted like that. He was the caretaker of the group. Maybe part of you might wonder if he's doing any better. I mean, his body was taken back to his homeland of Revhall Shear. Who knows how he's doing?
Oh, always. Medolfir always wonders how Grandma's holding up, and how Me-Man would be if he was still here. Of course, yeah.
Do you say this out loud?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Melius overhears you talking with the group about your fallen party mate. He says, there are message birds at the Revan Hall. I don't know, obviously I don't know what's happened through the night and whether that is something that we can still reach, but if you do go to the Revan's Hall, there are message birds. They can carry what you need, far distances. They're trained to return.
Thank you. I will keep that in mind, certainly.
Good luck on your journey today. With that, is the group leaving the castle walls?
I say it's it's time to set out. Let's go find Master Nantes.
Okay. Without objection. Are you guys heading out the south gate or the north gate of the Citadel?
I would say maybe the south gate so we can go to that temple he was headed to first, number 15.
Okay. The Shrine to Haptha. Yep.
Yeah.
Or sorry, it should be a shrine. It's mislabeled. You head over to the Shrine of Haptha via the south gate. As you're leaving, you notice various offices within the Citadel. Simon Willett's office specifically, there are no lights on, and you see kind of one of his lesser pages standing outside of the office as you pass by. Kind of gives you a nod. You guys continue through to the south gate, where you do notice a set of 2 guards above the gate and 2 others manning a tower towards the east along the corner of the walls. These guards were not there last night. I mean, the walls were barren. As you pass through, you notice some of them have weapons on the ready. There is a rather large, not a ballista, but similar in scale. It's like a very large, heavy crossbow, trained down on the streets below. And as you exit the gates, you notice a pile of corpse with a rather large crossbow bolt pierced through it, still partially on fire. The fire is seemingly being allowed to just kind of burn out into the corpse. But it appears that the corpse has been on fire and charring for some time, with this bolt still kind of acting as kindling, keeping the fire going. It is some sort of zombie.
Hey, Jim, just because I haven't asked this question before. Terthus has gunpowder, right? They have explosives. They had like a whole cache of them that they were trying to steal from the Navy.
Yep.
But we have not seen the Terthians use gunpowder or bombs or anything this entire time when fighting with the zombies. Is that correct?
That's correct. You have not seen that. Now, part of that was that there weren't that many guards to use it the prior evening. Part of that might be that you do know that the stocks of weapons, of materials, potions have all been emptied out for this incursion to Adbara. And you do know, well, you don't know me, man, but the rest of you do know that in general, the Terthian Navy is what uses most of that smoke powder. That's how they kind of remain the power of the seas. But it has been used for also land weaponry at times as well. Bombs, etc. And you do know also, the rest of you at least, that most of that smoke powder comes from the east side of the island within sort of a series of these strange sediment basins at the east end of the island.
And the folks coming back off the boats, did they bring any of their supplies back with them? Like, did they bring potions and stuff with them?
Yeah, there was seemingly some materials brought back with them. Some of them were carrying large sacks of materials to restock. Some of that was for their own defenses, the guards themselves, weaponry and materials. But it did seem like they came back with substantial cargo as well. For instance, you don't recall seeing this large, not quite ballista, almost like something that could be disassembled heavy crossbow. You had not seen this before on the castle walls. It seems to have been put together since the night before.
You know, the only reason I asked is because I think modal fear is still pretty low HP wise, and so it might have been good to ask about healing again before we headed out, whether through squirrel or for a potion.
Okay. Yeah, but Ophir, would you have done that? I'll allow that retcon.
Sorry, say that last part again?
Mayman's pointing out, that you're low in health, that some of the supplies may have been brought back by the Terthian soldiers, what they could carry at least, and whether or not you were interested in asking them for any resources for your health.
Oh, absolutely. Give me potions.
I would have asked them anyways, even if he didn't, but that would be the reason why, because he's still looking dinged up.
Yeah.
Hey, GM, I'm sorry. So I keep forgetting that I'm also an archivist.
Yeah, you are.
Could I have used my healthful rest spell to grant people double healing the night before?
I will say, as a retcon, since you said it early enough, that you hear as you wake up and switch as you're about to go to sleep before waking up Lanray, you hear Mayman going in and checking on Medolfir next door. I suppose you would be able to go check in on Medolfir as well, knowing he was pretty badly hurt the day before.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just cast it on the whole party, and also other creatures that I can do up to. Let me see, one creature per one. I can only do it on one, so yeah. I could do it for whoever needs it more.
Medolfir and Mayman both have taken damage the night before, so up to you. Mayman's at 64 total. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll cast it twice then, one on each of them.
Oh, okay. I'll say this is the night before, so you still had that spell available to you. Okay, yeah. So Medolfir, you gain an additional 10 points of health, and it's automatic, right? There's no check for it?
No, it's just...
Okay.
I mean, technically the spell has a will negates, but it's harmless, so they don't even have to roll it.
So unless you're really fighting it off. And Mayman, you gain another 8 points beyond what you already had. Okay, good call.
How much that helps, but it might help a little.
Yep. So Mayman's now at 72 health. Okay. So, back to where you guys were. Passing through the gates, you do see the scorched corpse of a zombie burning to re-death in front of the gates. Down the hill, you don't see commoners out at all. The warehouse district, which is usually bustling this time of day, it feels boarded up. Literally in some cases. The only people you really see about are some hardened city folk, grizzled types, and the guards themselves. Some of the houses, you see people trying to purchase lumber and nailing up windows, things like that, to protect the house. You guys continue towards the shrine?
Yeah, I mean, nobody's acting as if they're in peril, right? They're just trudging about.
Yeah. As you're walking through the streets, people kind of mind you for a moment and then return back to almost like a hurried action, but nobody is being attacked in this specific part of the city right now. Again, you guys I will actually move your little character and say at this point you're just coming down kind of this hill that goes up to the citadel at this point, right by the Shrine of Haptha, close to the warehouses. Nobody is being attacked, but definitely some nerves. Heading into the shrine?
Yeah, go poke our heads in, see what we see.
Okay. You enter what looks like a single-roomed space, a single sort of, imagine like a pantheon kind of building, with columns in the front. You pass through this kind of bulbous dome, and you're sitting inside of this domed space. this shrine, which at the end of the shrine you see a statue to Haptha, and it's his traditional robed, clothing in this statue. Medolfir, you look around and you see a couple of clerics, whether they're clerics or not, but a couple of the temple monks. I say that not as the class, but as the sort of position in the shrine. They're pouring water on the feet of Haptha from a basin and washing the feet of Haptha. And you see another person wearing a very tall hat, yellow and green robes, approach you all as you enter the space. Hail to those who come to the shrine of Haptha. May his grace wash upon you. Who am I speaking to?
My name is Medolfir.
Good morning.
We are stopping
Medolfir.
by to see Master Nantes had made plans to stop by this temple yesterday. Did you see him?
We did. Master Cleric Nantes is always welcomed here as any follower of Bahamut is. We spoke, and I assured him that I would send my 4 best men to assist in his journey. They have not returned back this evening. He and those 4 went to the Temple of Corellon across the city. The evening was not without its dangers. I needed to ward my own temple, or my own shrine, so I did not venture out to find him. But these 2 have been assuring sanctuary within this shrine since the screams of last night. And you see they continue to wash the feet of Haptha almost ritualistically.
If your men had met with any danger, well, no, hold on. Would you have expected your men to be back by now?
Possibly, though, having heard the screams that occurred late in the night, they may have done the sensible thing and stayed with the Merithians. Corellilians? Not quite sure how they call themselves.
Did Mr. Nantes, or did Master Nantes indicate any intention other than visiting the other temple?
He did mention his concern for allies in defense of the city at the Planetum, though I did warn him that there was much danger at the Planetum. Early in the evening, before really a lot of the noises of the dark night came, I did venture down the street to take a look. I sensed great evil coming from the Planetum, as if it was a bastion of dark energy. I told him to perhaps wait for another opportunity before going to look at it.
I thank you for your information and your audience.
Of course. And as I told Master Cleric Nantes, us Habthans are here to assist the Empire against this evil threat. Evil allowed to exist in its even smallest form is a dishonor to Haptha. Praises be with you. And he sort of lifts his hand and he casts kind of a divine saying upon the group. Max, you recognize this as some form of divine spell.
Okay.
Thank him, and then I'll look at the group and say, should we head off to the other temple.
I'm down.
Okay. Landray?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay. And yeah, he did basically cast Interfaith Blessing on you all. He's not keeping that secret. You are gaining... That blessing gives you whatever your own deity would give you as a blessing. I don't know. That doesn't apply to anyone except for Mayman, I believe. None of the rest of you have a deity. I don't know, Lanray, do you have a deity?
I do not.
Okay. So yeah, just Mayman. You're gaining a bonus Mayman of you're gaining a +1 advantage for reflex saves currently, Mayman.
So this guy cast a spell on the party that only affects one person?
Specific to that from the deity element. So hold on 1 second. And then the rest of you just gain a +1 on attack and damage rolls. And let me see. Yeah, attack and damage rolls. Okay. Okay. As you leave the shrine. Yep, go ahead.
No, you're good. I don't know about everyone else, but maybe take that path through the woods to the west of the Planetum. Like I kind of don't want to go like near the Planetum just yet. Kind of like, I don't know, can you see how I drew a path right there?
Yep. It's kind of the back roadway behind what was that, the greenhouse space, essentially. That Max and Lanray almost got trapped in.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your thoughts, the rest of you?
Like close enough where we can see the Planetum, but like not close enough where we're like hugging the walls.
Mayman, Lanray, Max.
It's good for me.
Okay. Lanray, you're the most nimble in these kinds of like terrain situations. Would you be taking the lead of this, or maybe Varg? Who's leading the pack through non-city streets?
I think I wouldn't mind if the
Okay.
group was cool with that.
And you guys trying to move silent? I mean, it's daytime. There's not much hiding to be done, but you guys trying to move silently once you get to that sort of wooded zone? Like, how are you guys moving through the city streets? Are you just welcoming trouble if it comes?
I mean, I didn't have any preference on that. Just kind of walking. Like I said, I didn't want to get like right up next to the structure of the Planetum, but
Mhm.
certainly avoid like near proximity of it was my thought. But yeah.
Okay. As you guys walk behind the sort of houses on this street, and Chorus's own residence is right here. You pass behind it. There's kind of a high path that goes along the citadel wall that you naturally find yourself going. It looks like it's maybe a guard's towpath that's been created from patrols over time, but it rises up higher, like almost to the roof line of the houses. And as you walk along there, you get about, I'd say, to here, just past the houses. When it starts thickening up, there's an orchard down the hill that's more formal and organized. But up here, close to the wall, it's almost like a thicket. There's a lot of underbrush that hasn't been cleared other than this walking path. specifically so that it acts as a barrier against the walls to some extent. And you look up and you can see these large, thick stone walls towering above you, at the tree line above. Lanray, give me a spot and listen check. Okay. As you're walking, looking out, there's so much underbrush, there's not much to be seen. But as you get further into this space, away from the planetome, winding kind of away, a little bit away from the wall, downward somewhat, and then back up, you hear a noise. And just as you hear that noise, somebody behind you steps on a larger twig and it snaps a bit. And then there's kind of a silence. The rest of you hold. Lanray, as you continue listening and you hear conversation. And then that conversation, as that twig snaps, suddenly stops. That conversation was happening from further down the hill towards the planetome. A good 90, 100 feet, sort of between the thickets. What are you guys doing?
I mean, do we know, like, does anybody but Lanray have, like, I don't know if we would know, right? That we see Lanray stop, I would imagine, but
Yeah, I mean, I'd say in past experience with Lanray leading the group, him stopping usually is contextually something's going on.
okay. At that point, oof.
Sounds like you're the one that stepped on that twig.
Yeah.
Okay. Varg kind of gets low to the ground.
I'm on motion for Varg to kind of head there and head towards, like, where I see Lanray had stopped and is looking.
Okay.
Tell him to sneak and see what he can see.
Yeah, he's a good boy. He goes quietly up next to Lanray, sniffs around. And he looks back up towards Lanray. There's just like a little yelp that he makes towards Lanray, like.
What does my emphatic connection say that means? Danger or just worry?
Worry? Varg has been acting different since encountering these undead beings. You know, he's been tasked to defend mostly. He does not like undead beings. He has not reacted well to them. What's the rest of the group? Mayman and Max, you guys see the two trackers up ahead.
I'm going to go next to Modalfear and just take my cue from him.
Okay. You're a little bit taller than the rest, so you can see over some of this thick underbrush. You see down the hill over some of that brush. The building itself, I mean, there's lots of areas that are obscured even lower down in the thicket. As you look kind of towering over a bit of their shoulders, you see the building. You do notice that there are vines growing along some of the windows of the building that you don't remember were there before when you came through the greenhouse. But you don't see anything down the hill specific, any movement. Max, what are you doing?
I mean, it's a long shot, but do I see anything?
You know I'm going to ask for a spot check from you. You're pretty blind.
No.
Oh, all right. That's a relatively good roll for you. 13 ends with an 11. As you look out through the thicket, you do notice those vines, and you know for sure those vines are not natural to what was there on the planet before. Specific to anything creating that noise, you don't.
So we're talking about like here?
On the building itself, yeah, the vines are like literally growing around the windows of the building. That's unnatural from what you've seen before. But the noise that Lenry heard, you don't see anything creating that noise.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay. So, Madopir, you're going to use Speak with Animals, your once per day thing?
Yeah, and then use my new innate message ability to communicate silently with Varg.
Okay. He slowly starts crawling through the leaf debris low to the ground, into the thicket, into the tall grass and undergrowth. You start to lose visual connection with Varg.
That's fine. I should have about 200 feet range with message.
Yeah, plenty. Okay.
So
You're waiting for him to respond in some way?
I'm just gonna, like, every so often be like, do you see anything? Do you smell anything?
Yeah, I forgot you are able to do this. He disappears through the thicket. The rest of you see just the slightest movement of the grasses and brush moving as Varg goes through. He's very good at doing this, though. He's a natural predator, obviously.
Survival's more for, like, tracking.
Yep.
If he picks a scent or whatever.
As you all watch from above, everybody but Madolfir, you see suddenly a very quick movement of brush around Varg. Madolfir, you get the sense of fear from Varg. He's responding back that there's something around him. And there is a sudden, like, right where Varg was, a ton of movement in the brushes as Varg begins to telepathically tell you that he's being held. He's being held.
I'm breakout running towards Varg.
Okay. I need you to give me a balance check, because this is very unsteady terrain, pretty steep, going through some thick brush. Anybody else also taking off towards Varg?
I would have gone. If Modolfir runs, I run.
Okay, as soon as Modolfir takes off, give me a balance check. Anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, I would follow.
Okay, everybody who's following, give me a balance check. We'll probably wrap up pretty soon here.
And this is a balance check to climb up?
No, it's to come down the hill. It's pretty thick stuff, and there's just not great footholds. Wow, Max. With the watching the others fall and trip and really slow progress. Mayman himself rolling partially in his heavy plate arm, in his heavy half. What is it? A half plate?
I think it's a breastplate. Hold on, no.
Breastplate. Yeah. As he tumbles, and Madolfir, in a bit of a panic, trying to get to Varg before any danger befalls him, slowed by the terrain, but not falling. Same with Lanray, who's normally very capable. Although Lanray, I think you don't get slowed by it because you have that capability for Ranger in difficult terrain. So, yeah, yours is pretty much ignored. You're progressing. And then there's Max, who's just like watching the rest of you and being like, well, I'm going to take the easy way and just avoid all of that. Max, you make it down with absolute ease, down to where Varg was, and you see two figures pop out of the grass, with Varg's head now showing out of the grass as you approach. It is the figures of Darius and Jameson holding onto Varg, and now you see that they are petting him to calm him as Varg is like trying to grab them, but they know exactly how to hold him to calm him down.
Okay, so I assume we see their faces.
Yeah, they're like, whoa, and then they realize they're holding onto Varg, and they see the rest of you. And Darius goes, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God it's you guys. I was praying that it wasn't just Varg who had escaped and that you all were safe as well.
What happened?
We were ambushed. We were ambushed in the Planetdom. If it weren't for this staff, we weren't able to escape. The rest, the archmages, the students, they've been captured within there. Some of them were beginning to be tortured. I don't know for what cause. The Veladrakes had returned in there. I didn't see the awful cleric, but the Veladrakes were within there. They were sapping away energy from the Archmage. I don't know what ritual they were doing. But we escaped. I tried to reach out for the others, but we couldn't. There was an arcane wall blocking us from them. We barely made it out. And at this point, Jameson's face is returning to a ghostly white, recalling what happened in there. Pure evil. Purest evil.
We'll certainly catch him up to speed on everything we've experienced with the Veladrakes and the Citadel.
That is not good to hear. And I'm sorry to hear about Master Nantes not returning. He's going to be important to what needs to happen next. We escaped here. We've been camping here without fire in the evening. It's the closest we can get to the Citadel looking through, but it's becoming harder and harder to actually see within. Those vines have begun growing and blocking all visage within the building.
Oh, Max, let Coruscant know our fortune in finding the mages, the Ace of Magica.
Max does Trucker talk into the Thunderstone, whispering.
You get a 10-4 back from Chorus. Certainly good news.
Let's see, what's Coruscant's CD nickname? His handle. What's his handle? Gotta be. I'll have to think about it.
Yeah. You can certainly utilize that.
What would your trucker handle be, by the way, Max?
Let's see. My handle. What would I want my handle to be, or what does everybody else end up calling Max? Those are two different things, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking Tabby Cat.
Yeah.
Roger that, Tabby Cat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Carrot Top, maybe.
Yeah.
Carrot Top.
Prop master. Make that indirect.
Yeah. All right. So with that, you do send that message along. You guys are in a bit of a position overlooking the Planetdom with Darius and Jameson. They will go ahead and wrap up this session, and they kind of go, well, wherever you all are going, we'll come with, or we can stay here and continue to observe the Planetdom and see if there's any change. Would you like us to come with you or stay here?
I say for now, have them come with us to the temple, at the very least. They can while their way back here to spy on the Planetdom, but afterwards, but it'd be nice to have them along
Excellent.
as we go to the temple.
Very well. And with that, Darius and Jameson agree to continue with the group as you guys make your way quietly through this back forested area between the Planetdom and the Citadel. Darius kind of looks at Max and says, "Hey Max, I see you have that sending stone you sent. Did you get another pair? Because I've lost mine. In the battle, it fell, unfortunately, as I was grabbing my staff."
Max puts his hand on his shoulder and was it Darius?
Yeah, Darius.
On Darius' shoulder, he says, "Well, I'll tell you all about that."
Oh, terrific.
And that'll be the fade off.
All right. Good session, guys. Yeah, some demons got released into the world. I'm sure nothing bad will ever happen from that. as you guys head off to see if you can find Master Cleric Nantes.
I mean, the last couple of sessions, actually for several sessions, I feel like we've been going backwards. Like things have been getting worse.
Yeah, you guys need some strategy for sure. You guys are fighting extremely high-level enemies that are grouped up together. The demons occurred because of a bad roll. I will tell you that much. There was a chance that nothing bad would have happened with the gate, but one of those rolls in the session a little while ago did result in that occurring, and I will not say any further about that.
It was my roll. I know it.
All right, guys. So, talk to you guys next session.
All right, everybody.
All right, guys.
Take it easy.
Good Sunday.
Have a good one.
Later, guys.